I was having breakfast with my father and brother many years ago, one beautiful summer weekend morning. And my father asked what we wanted to do that day. And my brother, out of nowhere, said, I don't know. I think I want to go to the fucking zoo. He probably heard that word at school, and all his little prepubescent friends kind of laughed at that word. My brother had no idea what it meant or what it was, other than he thought it was funny. Yeah, but my father didn't think it was so funny. So he said, what did you say? My brother goes, I would like to go to the fucking zoo. So my father smacked the shit out of him right there at the breakfast table, sent him upstairs to stand in the corner. He wasn't going anywhere. My father turned to me and said, what do you want to do today? I don't know, Dad, but I sure don't want to go to the fucking zoo. Check.
Looking down, he seemed so helpless, talking to the sand. Here's $1, felt like a savior, shook his head, held up his hand. Though he said, I think that it's better trying to be free. Watch the waves, hear what they're saying, what else could there ever be? Illusion. Illusion. Paradise in your mind, open it, try to find who you are, who to be, only purpose to be free, just a king in paradise. Fool me once, fool me twice, lived among the destitute, where the seeds of valor took root. Look at things different, others their own way. Just ahead beyond the horizon, where I'll go another day. People say it won't make a difference if we live or die. Tide will turn always tomorrow. Then he looked up to the sky. Just look around you. Paradise while we live. People take, people give. Give it all, it comes around. I was lost, now I'm found, just a king of paradise. Claim me once, claim me twice. Wanted fortune, wanted fame. Couldn't win a loser's game. Heard his words, something inside me reaching for the one. Threw the $1 into the ocean, watched it float out to the sun. Had a job, shuffling paper, never felt quite right. Watched the waves, listening closely, sat down when I saw the light. The warm sand through my fingers. Paradise in my mind, opened it, I was blind. Who I am, who I'll be, now I know how to be free. Just a king of paradise. Listen once, listen twice. I learned to understand when I learned to live as nature commands. Just a king in paradise. Burn me once,
I was once fortunate enough to attend a party during college where most of the girls had a contest to see who could hold the largest inanimate object under their breasts. Thank you, God. Joy Brickman won. She was able to hold a whole aerosol can under there. So one day I'm looking in the mirror at my deeply furrowed simian brow, and I'm thinking, what could I get in there? Check.
Strong from a wild life, twist of virtue,
I was in New York City this past summer, just walking through Madison Square Park, and I saw a hot dog vendor. And it had been decades since I had a fully loaded New York City hot dog. So something about the moment, I decided to destroy my health and have one. So I walk over to the guy, Eastern European, Russian, late 50s, early 60s, and I told him what I wanted. Just load it up with everything, man. Onions, relish, mustard, ketchup, the works. He goes, fully loaded. You got it, my friend. And then he picks his nose and wipes it on his apron. And I go, whoa, man, you just picked your nose. He goes, I'll clean. And then he sticks his hand in the water that the hot dogs are keeping warm in. And then he wipes that on the apron that he just wiped his snot on. And he goes, see, clean. And I go, stop. Come on. So I go over to his vendor license. I didn't know if I was going to report the guy, but this was ridiculous. And there it was, his name, Vladimir Snotowski. Snot, C-Z-N-O-T-O-W-S-K-I. Snot, right in his name. That's his heritage. Somewhere along the line, this guy's ancestors had something to do with snot. Like if your last name is Miller, some point your ancestors were Millers. Or like me, Seagull. I guess my ancestors were the coastal birds that scavenged for food in the dumpsters behind the McDonald's on Long Beach Road in Oceanside. I'm very proud of my heritage. It was a delicious hot dog, by the way. Check. Years ago, silver lion memories drawn throughout collective conscience, coming out 10,000 miles from the lotus road. Red army shape their destiny, grace in the face of adversity. The stolen commodity finds its way back home. Prayers it is heard, music and the word me. Rhythm and rhyme, woven in time to be. Sticks and gloves, violence and love, the energy. Will they become more than the sum I see? Somewhere someone paints a new frontier he thinks is crystal clear, born from a deeper essence and a unique experience. Hopes and dreams are transitory, like the ending of a story left unwritten, because the future is uncertain. Simple to profound, vision shaped from memory, which means it was meant to be standing right beside me on sacred ground, looking at the airbrush clouds and night sky, 7 rows of wire faces mounted on 3D, everything evolving from an idea, somewhere near the confluence of art and insecurity, the constant flow of transformation, of realization, of causes and effect. First light reflects the future and past, living in the moment, leaving something that will last.
questions kept at bay. Any other way denies my destiny. Any other way, and the three collections wouldn't be. And they are. Maybe it's all bullshit. No one sees it. Tree growing in a forest on a distant planet. Hoping and praying, and loving and hating. My space underground, all these years spent creating. The rhythm and harmony, and words to this song. Where we let go is where we belong. That look good upon a wall, rise and fall like tides and empires. From where I'm sitting, a lifetime of things I'll leave. Not naive enough at this point to believe something's thrown away yesterday. Something's handed down like wisdom in the incense burner. In the grand scheme, what will really matter? Working in my studio, doing what I do.
It's been asked by philosophers and mystics for centuries. How many angels can dance on a head of a pin? How many marshmallows can I shove in my mouth and still say pudgy bunnies?
Pudgy bunnies. 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 I'm doing this. Pudgy bunnies.
All right. Some water. Check. Check. my juggling one-man band. Thank you. Because I suck at that, I'm going to do my imaginary juggling one-man band. This is my imaginary juggling one-man band walking the tightrope. Check.
The lake was floating, on the rushes. Bam, bang, it found him. For 12 years he remained survival. Have to know something of bitterness. Beverly thought how beautiful the earth, running to the cold extreme. The faded
The beauty of being a stone dad. My wife came upstairs one evening after letting our dog out to pee in the backyard, and she told me I left my light on in the studio, which I've done many times before. I'm in the studio every night of my life. Come home from work, take a hit of weed, and one hit, because pot is so strong these days, all it takes is one, and I am going. Just composing, writing, and after a couple of hours, I'm done. I feel really good. Then take my walk, watch TV, and bed. But when she told me that the light was on, I made my way downstairs, and on the way downstairs, I just wanted to stop into the kitchen to get something to drink. So I opened up the refrigerator, and there was that watermelon I had cut up a few days before. Sweet, juicy, delicious. So I had a few pieces of that. And then those cherries, the yellow and red ones. Oh my God, it's like God's gift. So I had a few of those. Then I cleaned up and went back upstairs, and my wife said, I don't think you turned the light off in the studio. And of course I didn't, because I totally forgot. So I made my way back downstairs, and on the way down, I'm thinking, I should write that down. The whole idea about being a stone suburban dad, it felt like it was something, like kind of funny. So I started writing some notes, and then I started thinking of other things that fall into that category of being a stone suburban dad. Like the time I forgot that I had armed the alarm that is for my basement door. And one night in the studio, I wanted to use that basement door to go outside to take one more hit of pot. It was a beautiful summer night. So I opened the door and I just, go up the steps there. And then I realize that the sound I'm hearing in the background is the alarm beeping, that I had like 30 seconds to get upstairs to disarm it, or the thing was going to blow. So I bolt upstairs and I'm putting the code into the keyboard, and it's not working, and it's still beeping. I'm putting the code in the keyboard, and then all of a sudden it stops. And then, just as quickly, the loudest sound I've ever heard in my life to explode the universe goes off, and then that stops. But because it went off, the cops come, and they knew that they were just dealing with a stone suburban dad. Oh my God. So I finished writing those notes, and I go back upstairs, and my wife said, you didn't turn off the studio light. Check.
Feel just like some $2 whore waiting for my final call. Down and begging pennies for drinks. The high life wasn't so high after all. Tried to live once and to the limit. Found the cool world, man. There was wind to spare and the ways to make changes, all blending into a single sound. The armless man years ago beat time with his spoons. Old man Virgil on the street singing, crying the blues. The old horn that Addie bought with a sweat and vision. I could go wherever I wanted in this life, like a bird across the Kansas City night. But then I found the dark glow. Wild ideas began to flow. A whole new system of sound and time, shaped to provide its own design. Harmonies Lester hadn't heard. Born along a lavender hazy world. Learned to play the blues in all 12 keys. A young Amadeus of the ghetto, blowing out bop melodies. Hearing with the third ear the explosions of pure energy. Stereotype a con man, New York City hustler. Natural born gangster genius, not afraid to pull the trigger. Monkey monkey on my back kept the outside world off it. Somehow sprung fully gone from the brow of a modern Jupiter. Prophet who took the wrong course and wound up in a new world. Black pariah who brought the fire to the enemy. Duggan on the front lines, blowing blues, harmonic schemes. Self-contained nocturnal man, no jazz hypes could redeem. Saxophone cried love and rage, the raw notes of a junkie sage running out of plays. In the fire of spring, what new songs to sing? Bird on the wing, the scenery is shifting. They tell you there's limits, but man, there's no limits, just forces through my green age. And I am unable to shout at the devil. The child and dream remain deep within. But I done gone back to my kick again. I can't live without tomorrow. Just live from day to day and try to play the blues a new kind of way. The beat behind the music, pushing forward and against it. In hothouse halls and on the street, like a black cat landing on his feet. Bursts notes fired into space, cryptic and disjointed, like a preacher shouting sermons in the desert, like thunder in the distance. Place to sleep, something to eat, pussy, drugs, and a fifth of gin. Don't care what I look like, man, cause the game I played, oh, nobody win. Don't believe the thunder or the hype that music breaks down walls, and I'm sleeping in the ghetto after freeing time in the concert halls, and I am unable to make my way through this languid fever, and I am unable to control the force that is my destroyer. I proclaim to the night my naked soul. Ah, to hell with it, man. How about a shot of whiskey before the next set? You know what? Better make it a double.
This is my Tuvan throat singing, my fake Tuvan throat singing. And for those of you who don't know, Tuva is a country kind of near Mongolia, China, Russia, that whole crazy area. And they developed this unique kind of throat singing, which enables the people who really understand it to have more than one sound coming out of their throat at the same time. Usually kind of a lower drone sound and then a higher whistling sound at the same time. It's pretty unbelievable. It's otherworldly. And this is my fake version of it. So in order to do this initially, I'd like you to close your eyes because I want you to hear what it sounds like. And it's not exactly what Tuvan throat singing is, but it sounds close enough that you'll get the idea. But close your eyes, and then when I'm done, you can open them and I'll show you what I'm doing. But close your eyes. Okay, they closed? Okay, good. Okay, that's Tuvan throat singing, fake Tuvan throat singing. So this is what I'm doing. First, I'm doing my droning sound. And because my lips are puckered, if I blow air through it, it's kind of whistling. Tuvan throat singing. Check. My brother and I have been known to get the giggles at some very inopportune times. One time we were in temple on Yom Kippur. I rarely go to temple, but I just happened to have gone with my brother and his wife. And the rabbi was talking about the story of Job, how through some of the worst trials and travail somebody could go through, lose your faith in God. And he actually brought somebody to personify that. This poor woman had the worst story I've ever heard of anybody. She lost her husband. She lost her daughter. Her sister got breast cancer. She got breast cancer. I mean, this was unbelievable. Even more bad things happened to her. And for whatever reason, my brother and I got bit by the devil. I feel him shaking, and I know that he's starting to laugh, and that sets me off. So I start going, and I'm trying to hold it in, and it got so bad that I had to take my jacket off and put it in front of my face and make believe that I was sobbing instead of laughing. That's how bad it got. And thank God my brother had the presence of mind to get the fuck out of there so I could just chill out, man. And then another time, this was the best one. We had gotten our parents' tickets to see the Grand Kabuki at the Metropolitan Opera House. And Kabuki is Japanese theater, and it hadn't been in New York for many, many years. So this was a big New York City event. And my parents thought it would be a good idea if we went with them. So my mother got us tickets, but we were sitting in almost opposite sides of the Metropolitan Opera House. And we're watching Grand Kabuki, and I really didn't get it. I thought it was kind of boring, but everybody was like making believe it was the greatest thing. And I had gone to the bathroom before we sat down, and my brother looks over, and apparently I forgot to zipper my fly, and he looked down, and he barked out for a split second, a huge piece of laughter, and then he quieted it down. But then I looked down to see what he was laughing at, and I saw it, and I did the exact same thing. And everybody in the Metropolitan Opera House is looking at us, and I think even people from the stage were looking at us, so we knew, just get out of there, man. So we got up and got out of there. We're in the corridor, and the best part of this is that my mother saw this whole thing. So then she comes marching down the corridor with this really angry look on her face, like how immature her two sons are. And then that got us laughing even more, and that got my mother laughing. So that was the best part of Grand Kabuki. Check.
Who is the left hand of the arm? Who prepared the way to the celestial light? Who consecrates with fire? Who purifies with water? Who set the balance? Be mine always the higher. Be my heart the center of the light. Be my soul of equal measure, perfected by the four orders of nature. been blinded by desire. Believe in the hope of tomorrow. Live upon hope, die of hunger. Who knows what tomorrow brings? The way I feel is the way you'll feel. All I see is my reflection. The way a child thinks, the way the wind blows, the way the sun shines, the way the rivers flow, the way the world was made, the way an angel sighs, the way the rain falls, the way everything changes. 'Cause the falling star never made it home. Because the narrow death has widened the world. 'Cause this city is only a dream. Because the end is follow the beginning.
Wow. My deeply furrowed simian brow, matchstick.
Oh.